Well, welcome to those of you online and to us in the room. Waterfront and Parks, February meeting 2026. We are light tonight. If we have anything that we want to put into a letter, it's going to have to go to the executive committee, and we'll do what we can do. And I'm sorry, we had lined up a lot of presentations and we have some very good presentations. I'm sorry that the rest of the members aren't here. Hopefully a couple more will trickle in. We're recording this, and I'll write minutes, and if a letter comes out, I'm embarrassed that you have to present to so few people. But that's the best introduction I can do under the circumstances. Should I just say, go ahead, Parks?
Yeah,
I think we can
let's start with
start.
the Parks. Yeah, yep. We do have a number of people online, so appreciate all of you and a few members who unfortunately have some injuries, which has led to folks not being here in person.
Okay, hello everyone, my name is Max Goodstein, I'm the Deputy Chief of Staff for Parks and Manhattan. It's good to see everyone in person and online. We have 3 agenda items for you tonight, so we're going to start with the most pressing one, which is the Ramona Ponte Park scaffold collapse that happened yesterday night. If we could please promote Kelvin, he's on the attendee list to a person on the Zoom that can speak.
Janine, do you have that?
Kelvin is the owner of the building that's adjacent to the park where the scaffolding was attached to.
I'm sorry, did you send me something to put up?
No presentation. This is just a conversation right now.
Okay.
It's just an attendee to bring over.
Oh, sorry. What's the name?
Kelvin.
He's
Okay.
the owner of the building with the scaffolding that was attached to that collapsed into the park. And he graciously agreed to attend tonight, which we appreciate.
Okay, he's coming over.
Thank you. So at around 8 p.m. last night, scaffolding that was attached to the adjacent private property of Calvin's building collapsed into the park. This scaffolding had a valid permit with the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. It also had its valid permits from the DOB. This is a really scary event to happen in the park, and it's something we take very, very seriously. Safety is our #1 priority, hard stop at all in anything we do. So when an event like this happens, we take it extremely seriously. I think that's the best way to put it. I mean, that's obvious. So we wanted to make sure Kelvin was here to help answer any questions. We wanted to make sure we were here in person to help answer any questions you may have. We're still investigating what happened here, so we don't have the full story yet. But what we can say is that the park is currently closed. DOB has put a vacate order on the park, so we can't open to the public again until it's made safe. We are allowing Kelvin and his companies, his contractors, to remove the scaffolding with DOB's approval, and then we'll go from there. I guess I'll open up to any questions anyone has from the community.
I mean, I guess the first question is with this scaffolding coming down, will a new permit need to be issued for the new scaffolding that will replace it?
Yes, so his current permit currently covers the scaffold that was up and the removal of that scaffolding. Anything that happens beyond that will require a new construction permit with the Parks Department, and you have to ask DOB what they require.
Okay. Any other? So for full disclosure, I also I was on the scene of this. I live a couple blocks away, and a neighbor called me about it. So I was there before fire department. A lot of people showed up, fire department, NYPD, OEM, buildings. I was by there earlier today. I saw Paul. I chatted with Kelvin a little bit. So it's very unfortunate all of this is happening, but I'm glad to see that people are taking it very seriously. As you know, the scaffolding has been up for a number of years, and has, you know, had a few issues with it during that time period. And this is just, you know, another layer on that. But I see we have Cody Lindquist in the attendees section. She's a parent at PS212, if we can bring her over.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, so I have been working as a parent at PS212. I'm on the executive board of the PTA as the parent and community outreach coordinator. We have voiced so many concerns about this scaffolding. It's been up since my older son is now in middle school. It has been up his entire time in elementary school. We had multiple inspectors come out. We were told it was fine. We've had issues with nails and boards falling down. We've had issues with children climbing on top. The roof was taken down. We have been screaming from the rooftops to every single committee, council member, Department of Buildings, Parks Department. This was an inevitability. We've all known that it was going to happen. We've all known it wasn't safe from day one. And I cannot tell you how terrifying it was. There were 40 children there at 4 p.m. yesterday. 40 children. Our babies played there every day. If this had happened 4 hours earlier, you would have 20 dead children. And it's not like this is something that came out of the blue. We have been screaming to every person that will listen to us. And I will say, as someone who volunteers with the community, who serves on my community education council, who serves on my PTA, I know who to contact. I know who to say this isn't safe. And I was met multiple times with people who were supposed to help get it right, and it was still ignored. I think there needs to be a higher standard for scaffolding that is in a playground where children play. The fact that this slipped through the cracks, and of course, I'm not blaming anyone here. We're all volunteers. We're all working for the community, but this is just unacceptable. Moving forward, if that playground is closed for months, for years, that is unacceptable as well. You know, the wheels of bureaucracy move slowly, and we obviously want things to be safe, but we want this to be resolved quickly. Our children, this is their third space. Every family in Hell's Kitchen uses this space daily for hours. In the summer, we are there from 2:50 when school gets out until 8:30. There's birthday parties there, parent meetups, school get-togethers. This is our neighborhood third space. And obviously, we can't fix what happened in the past, but we need to make this a priority that it is fixed effectively and quickly so that we can get our space back. That's all I have to say. We are so lucky, all of us, that this did not happen 4 hours earlier.
Thanks,
Agreed.
Cody.
Cindy, I just want to say, I'm gonna give you my cell phone number, just so you have it, so you have a direct line of communication, at least to me at Parks. What I can say from the Parks Department is that we will try to get the site open as fast as possible. As soon as that DOB vacate order has been lifted from the park and we're legally allowed to reopen the site, we will. So what that basically entails is allowing Kelvin and his contractors to clean up the scaffolding. And then we have something called a certified playground safety inspector at the Parks Department. And we're gonna assess any damage that may have happened to the play structure. Any damage that happens to the play structure, we're gonna make sure, basically Kelvin, the applicant, and his contractor is held liable for that, so we can fix it. We can pull from his permit any bond issues and get it fixed as soon as possible. Once the play equipment has been fixed, then we could reopen that play equipment. Any future scaffold at this park, I can tell you right now, we'll be very transparent with you guys on how that is put up and how we're allowed to do that. So we will come back to the community when we have that other permit in hand for the future scaffold to finish the job. Legally at Parks, we get posed this question all the time. We cannot prevent any private property owner from fixing or doing anything with their building. So we have to figure out a way to work with them, and Kelvin is graciously allowed to be on this call right now, he's agreed to be on the call. Kelvin, if you wanna add anything to that and maybe respond to, Cody, I'm sorry, what's your name, Cody?
Cody. Yeah.
Cody, I think she would appreciate that too.
Yeah,
Kelvin, can you?
hi everyone. My name is Kelvin. I'm the contractor and building owner on the partners on 47th Street. First, I'm apologize on what has been happened yesterday, and I jumped to the site. Uh, 8:20 on the 8:30 on the site and to meet with the Department of Building and the Department of Park last night, and I stood throughout the night until this morning, just make sure there's no one getting to the park. With the collapse, we are responsible, and we are um, uh, went through with our subcontractor with the A&H scaffolding and reliable scaffolding, because this is a special trade. We are have A&H and reliable scaffolding to respond immediately last night, and 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 have an engineer on the board today to meet with the Department of Building to come up with means of method to safely remove the um, current scaffolding, and also remove the sidewalk bridge. And then we have our attorney send the letter to the A&H and reliable and accountable on this collapse. And we do our best to take them to the court. Um, since it was really dangerous to the family, uh, uh, and to the community with this collapse. And I was on the site most of every day with my team, and we want to finish the site of the building along with the park ASAP. So we try to expedite every day with our manpower, and we hire the site safety manager as requested by the DOB on the site to supervising every day. Uh, just because of that, just watching on the park every day, and which I understand there's kids running around, going underneath, and and I look at the scaffold every day. And also we just the new scaffold was just reinstalled last year, October, 2025, and it was completely replacing the existing scaffold and the sidewalk bridge. We met with the Department of Park and reviewed the subcontractor that did that work too, and they have been amended on the plan. But and from what we see right now, we use a third-party engineer and to audit on the work is the engineer who provide the drawing, their main of method, their drawing are malpracticed. And we are having our lawyer going send them the information and requesting them to take down the existing scaffold and sidewalk bridge. Now we have another company, we'll have a new company already can buy as a third-party consultant and will build a new scaffold. But right now, as for the progress up to tonight, 6:30, mean of method of taking the existing scaffold has been submitted to the building department, and building department has responded with 2 comments, and that's already a reply from the engineer and reply to the engineer, and we hope tomorrow we could have the current scaffolding company to remove the sidewalk bridge and the scaffold down. And um and then we can file the new plan and the permit to the Department of Building and Department of Park for the new sidewalk bridge and the scaffold.
And Kelvin, what will be different about the new scaffolding that's going up?
It will be sending the new plan to the Department of Building. Um, the engineer will be submitting the plans. Right now, I only see the main of method to removing the scaffolding and the sidewalk bridge. But that's also reason we bring a different company on the site today to become the witness in the future when we take the old scaffolding to the court. So this
So
is
I just have a question. So this scaffolding, there's been problem after problem after problem on this site. I still am unclear as to why we should trust any new scaffold company to go on this site. I understand work needs to happen on this building, but work has needed to happen on this building for what, half a decade? What is going on with this building? Why has the scaffolding been up? And I also want to know what you said you were on site every day. Doesn't really make a difference if you're on site every day when a scaffold still collapsed. What's good? There is a lack of oversight. There's a lack of accountability here. I agree that we are incredibly lucky that there were not kids in the park. This could have been incredibly tragic. And someone needs to be held accountable. And I don't know exactly what that means, but I have very little trust in you, Calvin, in making sure that there is a contractor on site that knows how to do this job. So I would like to know what the comments were from DOB that you received and what was the current activity on site that was right before the collapse of the scaffold.
what was the current activities going on at the site right before the scaffold? You
Right before either that week, that day, were you actively working on that building?
Yes, we were actively working on that building, but along with the park side, we do not have any activity or work along on the park side. We only work on the front of the building, back of the building, and also the rooftop of the building. So there's
Okay.
no one step on to the sidewalk bridge or scaffolding, and also we do not have any material put it on the sidewalk bridge or scaffolding, nor have any
So what happened here,
snow
Calvin?
accumulating
In
on
your,
the.
in your, okay, being on site every day with a site safety inspector,
Yes.
in your opinion right now, what happened? Why did the scaffold collapse?
I spoke to the engineer who present at the site from a third party. Is expansion beam was too long. They made it about 30. They made about 30 feet of expansion beam, but it's not the right. Um, uh, it's overstressed on the expansion beam.
So you're saying the scaffold was too long for the site?
Oh,
So
sidewalk bridge expansion.
The scaffold bridge was extended too far out and that's why it collapsed? I'm just trying to understand exactly what you're saying. Is that,
Matt,
do I understand
I
that?
think I can help explain. So if you were looking straight at the side of that wall, the space that collapsed in the center was a span that was unsupported. And so I think what Kelvin is saying is that span that was unsupported from beneath was too large of a span for the materials that they used. And so it wasn't strong enough. I don't know if there was any impact with, I don't know if snow got on it or anything, but the part that fell was the part that was unsupported.
And no one noticed that, being on site every day with a food safety inspector? For how long? A year?
Was October 2020 until now. That's when was the last time they reinstalled the sidewalk bridge. They just put it up new.
So you say October 2025?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
There's some
Yeah.
hands on.
And when they finish, this is the scaffold company and the sidewalk bridge company will submit a letter of completion to us. That they follow by the engineers. Like for example, you was mentioned, do we see this? Yes, we see the scaffold put up, and because scaffold company they provide this is a special trade, not a contractor. We can just go ahead and build the scaffold in your city. This is they have to hire the special trade engineer and special trade for the sidewalk bridge only, and they provide the calculation to the building department, then approve the plan and coming back and install the sidewalk bridge.
And they installed it improperly.
No.
Yes, obviously it's improperly.
For me, the important question is going forward, how can we be assured that it doesn't happen again? And that's the purpose of your question, you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't trust, I mean, it doesn't matter, really. I mean, I think there's been enough problems here that it needs to be an entirely new team and including, I mean, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, I was gonna,
It's not a coincidence that the scaffolding collapsed on this site. There's a real serious issue going on here. And I'll leave it at that.
I'm just gonna say, you had two different scaffolding companies. It sounds like there needs to be an engineer both for the scaffolding and for the sidewalk bridge. And you were told by some additional party who came now that this was malpractice. So my question is, does the Department of Buildings or the Parks Department do any kind of review of the quality and reasonableness of the people who are doing this work? Or does that only rest on Kelvin's decision?
Can I just answer some of that?
Go for it.
Yeah, so at the Parks Department, we review where the scaffolding is placed on our parkland and how much parkland is disturbed by it. We also care about how it impacts the ground plane. Parks does not approve any kind of scaffolding construction or structure. We rely on the DOB, and the DOB relies on the engineers to do that. But that's more of a question for DOB, as they're the approval agency for all scaffolding in the city. So you cannot get a park scaffolding construction permit without having a valid DOB permit for that scaffolding.
And do you know if DOB does any inspection of
I
scaffolding?
can't speak for DOB. Yeah, that's a question for DOB.
Yeah, so I think it sounds like we will have to ask DOB what they do. And I don't know if does DOB review the scaffolding plans to confirm that, everything looks in order, or they rely just on the engineer and, people that they've licensed, to do this, but, they may have not communicated with in a long time or know who's actively working at these companies.
It's sounding to me like that long beam was inappropriate for that scaffold, and I don't know, of course, I haven't seen the site, but the extra weight of snow might have messed it up.
But if they're actively working on that site, why they should shovel the snow off? I don't understand. There's serious incompetence that's happening if snow was related to a scaffold falling down,
Well-
especially as Calvin said, they've been actively on the site. He's out there every day, take the snow off the scaffold. I mean,
He's responsible also for improper design. I mean, design should have been enough to hold
Support.
whatever extra weight.
absolutely.
What's the address of Kelvin's property?
343 West 47th Street.
Okay, and also Kevin, as you're the owner, but also the contractor, correct?
Yes.
Which means that you would be responsible for subcontractor selection, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I think, you know, one of my big concerns, not knowing this specific property, is that it sounds like mismanagement of the construction process is endemic. And the community has been trying to get issues corrected for a number of years now. And that ultimately this collapse is the result of mismanagement of construction at the property. I think that would be a pretty fair way of characterizing the issue. And I would just caution you to take this as perhaps the most serious issue that you'll ever deal with in your entire development career. And I would strongly urge you to select better contractors and to speed along the construction progress at this property so that we don't have to face additional issues within the community on an ongoing basis.
Jeffrey, yes, thank you for first with the members have question on the snow on the sidewalk bridge. There has no snow, there very limit of snow on the sidewalk bridge. Most of the snow is already shoved and it's from the top. There has a jumping board. It's carry about 90% of the snow on the on that limited amount of space for the sidewalk bridge. And that's you could see from the bottom is all the way on the top level. So there's nothing was fall. It's very limited of snow falling on the sidewalk bridge.
Interesting.
And second, scuffle was there is it second is the same company, Reliable and ANH. They are the same companies. They just have two different names on this job. And we had before we have another company is called HKS. And we use the HKS on the job, and we due to the sidewalk bridge, we mean to fire them. And then we go out to have bid on the scaffold and the sidewalk bridge. Then we realize Reliable and AH still the same company from HKS after we hire them. So this becomes one scaffold and sidewalk bridge company carry a 3 shops, probably 4. I don't know how many. I'm sorry.
Doesn't suggest a very good due diligence process in selecting them.
First we check on their license and the scaffold and register if they were registered with the Department of Building with the permit. That's our standard protocol. And then we look at on their insurance and submitting the paperwork. But it becomes a same company. They continue to follow up with this job and bid on this job. So yeah, we right now we have different company is called Triborough. Or if you know a community board can recommend some of the sidewalk company you guys work in the past, and you know it's reliable. You know we are happy, more than happy to you know to work with them too.
Kelvin,
That's-
I wonder if
That's not a role. That's not something that we would do.
yeah, well, I
Okay.
wonder if you can talk with the people at DOB that are dealing with this, and I know a stop work order was issued. I think, you know, DOB deals with scaffolding all the time.
Yes.
I would like to think that they could offer, you know, names of some of the most conscientious and the best scaffolding services. And maybe that could help you, find something. And then I would still maybe suggest even when that, if you find a new scaffolding company that DOB recommends that can redo this, but still have their plans looked at like a second opinion from another engineer to just confirm that what the new scaffolding engineer is saying is good. So kind of like a check and balance of not just saying, okay, we found a new scaffolding company, they've submitted new plans, we're going to go through with it. Find the new scaffolding company, hopefully with some input from DOB. And then on top of that, when they submit you the new plans, have another engineer that's not even related to the scaffolding company look at it to just confirm there's no issues and that there doesn't appear to be any problems, just so we can prevent something like this from ever happening again at this site.
Sure, we certainly can do that. And we also, the engineer who came to the site today, and I think the entire safety unit engineer is putting the alarm on this incident. And um, I will have a third party just for reviewing on the drawing, and probably our structure engineer to double check from AT engineering, um, and learn more from the bridge internals. Um, uh, but
Calvin, and I would think you should come back to the community board before you make any decisions, because I think it would be helpful for us to get an understanding of your next steps with whatever company you're hiring and the scaffolding and the plan and what it means on the impact on the park, and have a meeting with DOB and Parks again. I think we need to be much more in touch as a community board with you before any decisions are made. So I would hope that you would come back and brief us on your next steps with who you're hiring, and we can just continue the conversation.
Yeah. Mhm. Mm. Of course, and we probably want to write we can do the daily email and send it to the community board to keep you guys updated on what's going on the site, and the progress, and if there's any new plans develop within next a day or two, next day, I think a day or two, we will also email it to the community board and along with the park and Department of Building.
Can I just say, trifle, I don't know, I just Googled tri-borough scaffolding and hoisting. Frequently involved in lawsuits primarily concerning New York's labor law, leading to cases about worker safety, falls, inadequate protection, and disputes over insurance. Maybe every company has this, I don't know, but this sounds like a red flag to me. So I think I'd also like to know sort of what kind of due diligence you're really going to be doing with the next election.
Lisa, and thank you very much to look up on this. And there has a limit scaffolding and the sidewalk bridge is a specialty trade. It's more like an elevator. It's not every contractor can do or touch. This is a very special trade. And city require and insurance company require very high a very expensive insurance on the sidewalk bridge and scaffold companies. Um, I
I'm just saying, it's fine. I'm just saying, doesn't seem like that was checked out last time.
so there
ahead,
there
Jeff.
are limit of what I understand. We could go through the various proposals, but I think now is most important is what is the main of method to resolve the issue and how they put it up. And that would be need to check by the DOB and check by a third party, as Katie suggested. and to make sure they install properly and have the DOB oversight on this. And we also will have, our structural engineer to put attention on what's going on with the scaffolding and to write a report. Because if you, yeah.
David Stewart has his hand up.
Who has a hand up?
David Stewart.
David, you're not, he needs to be brought over.
Yeah, Janine, can you bring David Stewart over?
Yeah, I just promoted him.
Thank you.
And then we need to talk about where we go from here, committee.
Ramona Fonte, 147th Street. No, thank God. It was at 8 p.m.
Hey, everybody. Can everybody hear me?
Absolutely. And see you
Thanks.
too, so be careful.
Thanks so much for bringing me over. I just wanted to add one thing. I think accountability, 100% behind that. I think there has to be accountability. And what that is, other people can decide. But what I'm far more interested in, and I think our community is far more interested in, is learning. And not just all due respect to everybody on the call and how much you're trying to be helpful, but I would really like to understand the cause of this from A to Z. Like apparently the scaffolding company might have had issues. There was something, maybe one of the bridges was too long, maybe the engineer messed up, and maybe so there was obviously little things were missed along the way. And due respect, I think it's great that we asked this particular contractor to come in with a much more robust plan. But what I'm more interested in is if we can really understand, like investigate this, have a decent investigation, really understand, then report that back to the community about what happened, and then take that knowledge and those learnings and institutionalize it. Because I know this is right now the except in Manhattan right now, and one collapsed, but I think those exceptions are things that point out that possibly there are some holes in the process. And I don't think I'm going to be satisfied just by saying like this particular scaffolding we're putting a little more due diligence in it. I think we should just look at the process, and I don't know who the people are, but I'm happy to be involved in that. And I'm not saying that every scaffolding is an issue, but I think we should treat it just as a way of like, let's learn something and take that knowledge and institutionalize it, especially in park property where we know that there are kids and kids are doing things on scaffolding that probably don't happen on sidewalk sheds, right? Just on the street. So thank you
I think you're making a really important point.
very
I
much.
think-
Appreciate that. And by the way, thank you for giving me time.
I think you're making an important point, and I think if we write a letter, we has to decide that. One of the things that has to be in the letter is the request, I presume, from the Department of Buildings, who is the one that's responsible for,
Second,
for permitting it in the first place.
yeah, the DOB has,
I mean,
there's a safety inspection for every
also,
shed,
but I
for
don't
every.
think their issue is structure, I think their issue is space. I know you correct me. on that.
That's correct, Marty. We, in our permit for the Parks Department, we look at space and availability of park space to the public. And also, any kind of concerns with the ground plane that might pop up that might go past the DOB review.
So I think whatever letter we write has to include the request that David and several of you have already made. We need to know what happened, but more important to me, and that's important, don't get me wrong, finding out what happened so it doesn't happen again is important, but whatever happens in this space needs to be carefully inspected. I'm concerned about two things, going forward safely and going forward quickly.
There should be we put sheds up all around our buildings in London Terrace Towers, and you have to go through a complete safety inspection with the DOB. So there's a DOB person responsible for that shed. for those sidewalk
Do
sheds.
they come back and look at it?
Absolutely. They look at it every 2 weeks. They come, they check the joints, they check the screws,
And they
they
charge
fine
for
you,
inspection?
yeah, and they fine you, and so there's somebody at DOB who's responsible for this action. And that's who we need to find out. It's, you could do all the engineering, all the people that you want, but DOB at the end of the day either passes you or fails you, and there's somebody responsible. There's a gentleman or a woman who passed that check, and we need to find out who that is, because they screwed up.
And all we can do is ask the questions. We are not the engineer.
And we should ask, who is the DOB person responsible for inspecting that shed?
Well,
Because that
there should be a
person's not
report.
Inspecting other sheds.
There should be a report to the community from DOB, from, you know,
Yeah,
Mr. Zhao, from, like, come back to us with a report saying this is what happened and why. Not, I don't really care about blaming people. I care about learning so that somebody doesn't get hurt.
the
So like
DOB
other
should-
people want to blame, that's not, knock yourselves out. I think that's, you know, like accountability 100%, but we need to like institutionalize this. And I think we need to see reports from city agencies, from the owners of the building, from the contractor. And those reports should be fast and thorough and, you know, like within 2 weeks. Like this should not be something that comes 6 months from now. This should be something you can put together in a week.
That's the correct flavor, David. Thank you. Anything else, friends? Are we writing a letter? And if we're writing a letter.
We got one more hand up.
One more hand.
Charlie Todd, Janine, he needs to travel to our side of the screen. Would you please?
Janine, can you move Charlie over?
Thank you.
Hey guys, can you hear me and see me?
Loud and clear.
Hey, so I'm Charlie Todd. I'm a public member of the Transportation Committee, but I'm a PS212 parent as well. I was in the playground yesterday at 4 o'clock with tons and tons of kids. One thing I wanted to point out is I'm telling you this secondhand, but another parent told me that he was there this morning and saw a DOB inspector, and the DOB inspector claimed that they had inspected the park yesterday. So that's interesting. And I just wanted to echo the call for urgency in terms of opening up the park. I know how slow the wheels of government can work in this city, and obviously there needs to be a deep look at what's happened and how this can never happen again here or anywhere else. But I hope that the priority is cleaning up the park, opening the park, and stopping work on the building. In the meantime, it would just be a real shame if a year goes by. Because as parents who take our kids to this park, every day, we've dealt with the scaffolding for a long time. We dealt with the urine smells. We dealt with all of the things that have come with having scaffolding for many, many, many years before the construction even started in the fall. We've been dealing with this and the intrusion to the park. So it's just a shame that the scaffolding is now going to close the park for some time. Obviously, we can't open it tomorrow, but I hope if you guys write a letter, I hope urgency in getting the park back to the community is top of mind. Thank you.
And as I understand it, there's a stop work order on the project at the moment. Thank you, Charles. The letter? To whom?
Well, I don't think we have quorum.
We can't, we don't have.
We can't vote on it.
We have 7 actually, so we don't have one.
We could do a letter, but it would have to be brought as new business to exec.
No, we do have quorum. Roberta gave
No,
us.
we only have 6
We only
people.
have 6.
No, it's online. Oh,
No, it's only in
does it have to be quorum in the room?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be quorum in the room before you can count online.
Well, at the HHS meeting, they claimed that it doesn't, that you could have
Well,
3
it
people.
depends on the number of people.
The best we can do to move this, let's not get stuck on this technicality. The best we can do is decide that we're gonna write a letter to who we're gonna write the letter, get it to the executive committee, hopefully they'll have quorum. And if we don't have quorum, we're not allowed to take a vote, but we can come to an agreement.
That's on that.
And if that's okay with you, that's how we'll move forward.
Yeah.
And let somebody else decide. If we screw up, we screw up. There it is. Let's just try and do the right thing. So let's talk about the letter. I have a letter that goes to the owner, that goes to Parks, that goes to the Department of Buildings, and that goes to our local politicians.
Mhm.
I just made that up.
So far, so good.
Yeah, sounds right.
I have a letter that says, there was a real screw up, whatever the cause is, we don't know, we'd like to know. We are very concerned about speedy replacement of the scaffolding to protect the park. We are very concerned about speedy reopening of the park. And we are very concerned that whatever scaffolding goes up won't be up for 3 months, more than 3 months. I don't know what the right number is.
I think the length of time might be hard because that's really dependent on the work that needs to be done. But I think we do want to, I think we would want to ask for DOB to flag this as a priority and make sure that they, considering there has been a collapse, they need to take this seriously. And, if what Charlie heard from another parent is correct, that DOB is saying they had someone out there inspecting it the day before, then what's up with the DOB inspectors? I know that's something that has been in our budget priority needs for a long time is more qualified DOB inspectors. But I think given the nature of this incident, we should ask DOB to, move this up to some priority folks who can ensure that everything moving forward is how it needs to be and really stays on top of it. And I think this may also end up, well, I know Triple HS might, discuss this. I don't know how that works. We've had all those meetings. We've had Triple HS this month. We've had land use this month. So I'm sure more stuff about this will be discussed at exec. But I think the letter needs to be, very strong about how we want to have much more oversight on the process and to ensure the speedy return of the park to the children, especially as we start getting into spring.
That's, I think this is what Katie, if this is not what part of what Katie's saying, I want to look what Matt said. I want to understand what the process is. And Matt pointed out on the streets, they inspect every 2 weeks, or whatever it is, whatever the street is. What do they do in the scaffolding in the park? Is there a process in place where they do a once a month or once a week, where they go through whatever is happening and make sure everything is secure? And if they're not, if they're not doing that, what will they be doing going forward?
The question there is, what is the process and
What is
how did it fail?
And how is it, and what is the process? Add the big word across everything. Is it enforced?
Go ahead.
Is there a process, but nobody enforces it, which doesn't help?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Marty, I would ask for DOB to appear at next meeting in person with.
I'm not hearing who's ever speaking. Hold on.
It's Sarah, louder.
Sorry, Sarah. Yeah, I would just add on a detail for the letter is I would actually ask DOB to appear in person at next meeting to sort of answer all these questions, give us this sort of diagnosis alongside Parks. So
Yeah,
there.
we should have everyone back next month.
Huh?
I think we should have everyone back next month.
Chair, my
This guy.
Go ahead, Kevin. Kelvin.
hi. Yes. I would suggest, not only on this job, and have the DOB to check on every job, this company, or they have 3 shelves and check them throughout the city. Because they could become a different name and pops up in another location and could be causing a serious issues.
In other
that-
places, you're saying.
And
Okay.
I think that brings up a broader issue that's not really covered in this letter, or this committee, about just how scaffolding companies are permitted and licensed, is a much broader discussion. I think this should focus more specifically on this location and also in relation to scaffolding in parks. And that, maybe DOB does need to have a lot more oversight when it comes to scaffolding in parks when they're looking at the permits, more checks and balances, than they would have in other areas, just to avoid, this type of situation. But I guess process wise, do we not even vote on a letter? Do we have to
No,
make,
just
so
make the letter recommendation.
No,
to Zach and then
we'll get, I'll take a, we're not calling it a vote, are we?
No, we can't.
well,
vote.
is it
We're
even
gonna-
like a motion
But
or?
We can motion it and then it needs to go to exec and then they have to write the letter.
We're not doing a motion, we're not doing a vote, but we are doing a poll asking what the folks in the room and online think. And my gut says, please, somebody who disagrees with this statement needs to be speaking up right now. We're writing a letter that has most of these points in. I'll write the letter, I'll give it to Katie, and she'll expand it with double the length or something like that. She's the writer. Do you all agree with the points that we have made? Yeah, no, we're not voting. I'm asking if somebody disagrees with the points that we have made. If there is, speak now. So I take it that, was that along?
Can I just make a point of clarification?
Yes, ma'am, of course.
I think we want to say this was a serious near miss that would have been catastrophic. I do think we ought to say, we want to know we want a detailed analysis from all appropriate parties as to what went wrong here, so that we can figure out what needs to change in the process to make it not happen again. Secondly, I think we need to say the priority should be on returning the park to the community. The issues of scaffolding and the work on the building can take as long as it needs to, but we need to get the park cleaned up and opened for the community. And then we have, whatever we want to say.
So your second point is we want the park open as quickly as possible.
Correct. That should be the priority. I mean, all the other things about what we need to do before scaffolding can go up and what we need to do to make sure that it stays safe, that can all happen afterwards. That's not as urgent to the community as it is that this park be available to the families and children that use it every day.
I agree. Anything
Okay.
else?
I think that, Kelvin?
Yes. Hi, community board. We could also like to. I think the Department of Building. I spoke to their engineer today, and they already took their engineer was on the site, and I think they will provide the report. Uh, uh, um, and we will also hire a third party engineer investigator to look into what is going on, to just buy a completely third party report besides the building department. And once that's done, we can submit it to the board. That could tell who is really accountable and how, what was going on in the past. And by moving forward, we fully cooperate with the building department. So the main of method to remove the scaffold and sidewalk bridge is in the process. And we have the team stand by, work with the building department and have them to restore the current sidewalk bridge up to the DOB's radars on it. And once that done, it will be from the Department of Building and the Park Department to release if the park able to reopen. But we would do our best to follow up with them and to expedite this process.
We really appreciate that, Kelvin. I don't have your contact information, but Max does. Is it all right if he gives it to me?
Yes, yes. Anybody can call me. I put my phone number on the top of the sign, on front of the building, and that has my cell phone number for the public to message me. That's my personal cell phone number just for this job.
Thanks, Kelvin.
Yeah.
So we're agreed committee that we're gonna write this letter to Kelvin, to the Department of Buildings, with some qualifiers, how come you messed up? To politicians and to parks. And the main points, although there'll be some blah blah, the main points are what Lisa just said. It's a serious mess. You could have really killed some people, mostly children. And get that damn park open quickly. The other part of it is what the hell happened? I guess those are the 3 points. I mean, I don't think
And inviting them all.
and come back.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We still got another scaffold thing to discuss, so I think we should move on to our next.
Yeah.
item.
Just for you guys to give you the latest update. So the DOB approved the main of method tonight already. We they work with them just 7:26. They approved the main of method from the engineer and the new engineer and there's 2 things I want to mention. The design applicant of this sidewalk shed is even afraid to come to the site today, which he's supposed to be
He was or was not at the site today. I missed that.
Was afraid to come to the city.
The engineer, which is a design applicant, he's even afraid to come to the job site, which he's supposed to come to the job site at the first place.
Right.
And we condemn on this, irresponsible engineer, which doesn't even have.
That doesn't seem good.
Yeah. So Kelvin, you're saying the DOB has approved
Made
the
of method,
process
so-
to remove the current scaffolding
And sidewalk bridge.
and sidewalk bridge. Yes.
Yeah.
So all that
And
stuff can now be in the process
tomorrow-
of being removed.
Tomorrow morning,
starting tomorrow.
7, 8 o'clock, they will start doing it. Because we spoke to the DOB. If it's approved by tonight, then tomorrow morning will be start taking the action to take out the existing sidewalk bridge and scaffolding and restore the new sidewalk bridge under DOB's engineers on site.
Yeah.
And once that restored, I think it's up to the DOB's inspector or their engineering team to remove the vacate order from the park. I mean, the vacate order on the park.
Yeah.
We're glad to hear that it's moving forward. We're really concerned that it moves forward as quickly as possible. We want that park open to the kids, and basically we want the scaffolding down. We want the work on your building done so you don't have a scaffolding there.
Here, as soon as we got work permit from the building department last year on April, and we grant our we got work permit, but we're not able to do any work or enter to the site until October last year. So by past 6-7 years, we only allowed to going back by October last year, and we do our best every week. We just put up 1 floor, and I understand the importance to get out of the park, especially with the sidewalk bridge and scaffolding.
Yeah.
And
All right.
we work on that. I think it's just matter of 3 months, and we already get onto. Right now we're on the 7th floor, and we just have the roof work to be poured, and then we finish the bulkhead, and then we can get finish on the structure, and then we will have the team stand by to install the stucco on the side of the building, and then we can take it down. I was on there every to make sure that progress reach to the point as soon as possible.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
And we expected, just due to the critical weather condition, there has a delay on our on the site, and the temperature is not permitted for worker to work in there. But we are expecting, we do everything we can, try to get the sidewalk bridge and the scaffold removed within 3 months or less.
Great.
I
Great.
do
I'll put
everything
that-
I could, that's on my priority. I don't care about the inside of job or anywhere, any of the job. I want this, wherever I can do, I could get this side of stucco wall and finish and get release from the.
That's fabulous to hear. I'll put it in the letter.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll move the agenda now,
Yes.
before we lose too many more members.
Sorry about that. So should I?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you,
I-
Kelvin.
Calvin.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
I
You've been
leave right
very
now.
helpful.
Okay, thank
You
you.
can stay if you want to, but we're gonna talk about other things.
Yeah, and feel free to approach me on the site. I'm there, and Ryan's there, and we can answer any question. Any member or any people from the community have any question. And I was staying on the job site this morning. I just want to answer any, buddy have question to the site, and I just try to approach to them to let them understand the process.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're gonna go back to parks and they're gonna go on to the
Yes.
next issue.
Alright, agenda item 2 of 3. So this is about another site that's gonna have scaffolding in it. I just wanna tell the community, please keep this with open eyes and open ears. This is a fresh start with this contractor
Ooh.
and this developer. So this is for the Penn South Playground, and can you please bring Mitch over to the participants to be able to speak? Mitch is on the team.
Yeah,
that's
sorry,
working on-
what's the name again?
Mitch.
Okay, got it.
Thank you. So Mitch represents the developer next to Penn South. That we have obviously a playground at Penn South on 26th Street, 25th, between 8th and 9th Avenues. And as you guys know, we have an upcoming construction project that we're going at this point. You guys looked at the design, I think, 2 years ago-ish, and it was approved. We went through the procurement process. And finally, we're at the construction phase, which is the most exciting phase, right? You guys will see a new park here very soon. That construction was supposed to start, as you guys know, in March. But a neighboring property with Mitch represents the developer there, they actually have their own construction project. So we have to work together as one team, both of us, the Parks Department and this developer, to get both of our projects to move forward as fast as possible. Mitch and his team have been quite frankly wonderful to work with so far. We've had a very positive relationship with how to advance both of our projects. Mitch and his team are working on the construction permit with Parks right now. They have their approved permits with other agencies to start work with this scaffolding, which is the initial phase of the project. And again, this is for Penn South Playground. So at Penn South, we will give Mitch and his team permission to start work next week, which is 7 days from now. So parts of Penn South will be closed starting next week. And it will continue to be closed until both of our projects are really complete. So how this is gonna work is Mitch and his team and the developer there next to Penn South will start their project and they will finish the first phase, which is demolition, by June 1st. After June 1st, our contractor at Parks will then start the construction of the park. So start demolition of the park and also start construction of the park. Once that point has been reached in June, Mitch will apply for another construction permit for the construction, for the erection of that building at that park. If there's any questions, we would love to answer them, but again, this is a fresh start. Again, new developer, new contractor, has nothing to do with previous sites, so just keep that in mind when you ask us questions. Thank you.
And to be clear, this is on their project is largely on the 25th Street side of Penn South Playground.
What you didn't say, which you might want to repeat for the folks in the room, is Demolition finishes June 1. The Parks is closed next week. Scaffolding goes up. There's demolition that's gonna occur. Scaffolding comes down. Park starts construction of the park itself. The contractor on the building is gonna start construction, and they have some fancy doodad wood, you described it better than I could, of scaffolding that has to go up at that point.
Yes, so the contractor, the developer is working on a special kind of scaffolding that is approved by DOB called needle beam scaffolding. And needle beam scaffolding actually allows the protection on the ground plane, which is what we care about, right, in the park. So our construction crew can work safely while not having any impediment with a post and a regular scaffolding sidewalk shed in the property by basically attaching this needle beam scaffolding to the adjacent building. So there's no ground plane interruption, which is very, very important. And we're super glad that this developer has agreed to do this because it costs a lot more money to put the scaffolding up, but it's gonna allow both of our projects to advance very quickly and hopefully on time.
So you were originally supposed to start in March, so this is what, like a 4-month delay for you all?
Yes.
Do you anticipate any other delays? I mean, it sounds like this will work out well because of the type of scaffolding, but do you see any, but right now it's a 4-month delay for you guys.
So once you put a shovel in the ground,
Sure, anything can happen.
anything can happen. There are guardrails for that, so say if their project was to run longer than maybe the last day of May, the first day of June. There are financial penalties that parks can levy to incentivize, but in all honesty, they wanna make money as fast as possible. So they have a very big incentive to get their project done as well, so they can have housing at this building and start making money.
And your guess on the park itself, once the needle beam, BEAM, the scaffolding is in place, that you had about a year for that project to complete. So that'll complete more or less June 2000, dare I say it, 7.
So we fully expect this project to be done within a year. It probably won't be done before then, to be honest, on our side. It all depends on weather and other things. I can't promise anything, of course, but we always say a year of construction. Historically, we've been faster than that. You guys know our process, right? It's a year and some change for design, and then about a year for procurement, and then about a year for construction, but we have been faster. The weather's been good to us.
And you've got, your plan is the one that we saw or the version of it, pretty close to it anyway.
Yeah, and our approach to this, and especially having Mitch here with scaffolding, has all been informed by past things that have happened in the community with scaffolding. So we hope this new approach of being completely transparent at the front of the project and also putting these additional guardrails into the permit helps this along. So both of our projects, the private developer and the public project, advance as fast as possible and as safely as possible.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Do people have questions on what we just heard?
Welcome to speak. Yeah, maybe he can recommend a good contractor.
Yeah.
Yeah, a quality scaffold.
You related tangential question. Mitch, you wanna speak?
Sure. Am I on the video?
Yes.
Yeah, good to see you.
Okay, great. So thanks for having me. Max asked me to join, so I was happy to participate in this meeting. As he mentioned, we have a great working relationship with him and his team at the Parks Department, and as well as the other stakeholders, including the folks from Penn South, Ryan and Amber, as well as the pastor, our neighbor to the north on 26th Street from the Gospel, New York Gospel congregation, and really just here to introduce myself, put a name to a name and a face of the project, and provide a little bit of color, maybe talk a little bit about the timeline, the process, and answer any questions.
So if we need to make contact with you, we can get your information from Max, and that's fine with you.
Sure, absolutely.
You got it.
Questions?
So Paul, you mentioned this is more on the 25th Street side, so I'm just I tried to Google map it. So you've got where the sort of that little area that goes down on 25th. Yeah, So where is the, just I'm trying to understand, like, is that gonna be closed during the, like, I don't know, like, what is the impact? I mean, is there on the playground during?
Yes, so there's gonna have to be protection.
Right.
That goes basically around as they're doing the demolition.
Right.
That goes,
But the park would be closed during the demo, right?
well,
Let's assume the park is closed for now. Just let's assume the park is closed for now.
So.
Okay, so the park, you don't know, okay,
Let's just assume the park is closed for now, like recent events. Well, let's evaluate. Let's just assume the park is closed. Alright?
okay, yeah.
Alright. It definitely could be opened up, but let us just make the determination.
Okay.
Yeah, so our goal, obviously, at Parks, to keep as much of the park open as possible while making it as safe as possible.
Okay,
So in light of the recent event, we just wanna make sure we have some breathing time to make sure that we are making the right decision here, that's all. Safety is our number one priority.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's say just jump to June first. What is the sort of, what is that gonna look like in terms of the park space?
The entire park is closed for June first, definitely, that's when the park is completely demolished.
Okay, so that's when the construction will start for the park and everything will be closed for that. Okay, got it. Okay, so, all right, got it. All right, thank you. Thanks for clarifying.
So I'm not really panicked about whether the park is.
Sure, yeah, it's gonna be closed. or-
From
yeah,
now to
impact.
June.
Right, no, the weather.
If they open the park between now and June, it's only gonna be a partial opening anyway.
What's definitely gonna happen is the basketball courts will have to be closed, cause that's where the scaffold is gonna throughout, and also parts of the play structure and the play equipment. If we can open the more of the park up, we will, but we're gonna do it safely.
So I see the park being closed more or less between next week, it's not March yet, but next week till June of the year following.
Yeah, let's just assume that for now, definitely could go faster, but that's a good assumption.
Yeah.
When is your project finished?
So again, we're grateful for Max and his team. Again, there's a lot of coordination that's been going on. And as Max mentioned, their project, irrespective of what we have going on, will close the park for that year regardless. What we're trying to do is coordinate and design a system that allows us to work on our building while that work is going on simultaneously, so it doesn't cause any additional disturbances. And as Max mentioned, great expense and a lot of thought has gone into that, the special needle beams to allow that to happen. A couple other things that I would just mention on the path that goes from the park back to 25th Street that was referenced earlier. We actually have a full shed that's going to be protecting that. So I was listening onto the call from the last incident. And just to kind of contrast a little bit, so to understand what's happening, there's no scaffolding directly above that. There's actually a full shed that's going to be protecting that entire walkway. And then on the back side, on the rear, which is the north of the property, by the basketball courts, there's going to be the needle beams. Our project is approximately 2 years. So if in fact the parks is about in and out in a year, then ours would extend beyond that. And again, we're looking to get in and out as efficiently and as quickly as possible. Of course, safety is an absolute priority and something we take very seriously. But we're absolutely very motivated to move this along very quickly.
Which building is it? Just out of curiosity.
So this is the cluster of church buildings in the middle of the block on 25th Street between 8th and 9th Avenues. It's really the only buildings that are not the Penn South complex. It's that cluster of buildings in the middle of the block. It's 200 feet across, and that comprises the entire site. On the north side of 25th Street between 8th and 9th.
The church, just so I'm understanding, is that, what is that, the Church of Assisi, or I can't remember, that, what's being demolished, I guess?
The church and the church buildings.
The church and the church buildings is.
Yeah, it's the church, the rectory, it's four buildings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So when the park is finished in 2000, St. Columbo's the name.
Oh, yes, right.
When the park is finished in June of 2027, you are my guess, 1/3 of the way through your project, more or less.
Our goal is to have our needle beams and scaffolding removed. First of all, the work will go on simultaneously, so that's not going to infringe on what's going on there. But our goal is by the end of 2027 to have all that work on that side of the building done and our needle beams removed and the scaffolding removed by the end of 2027.
So the end
let's
of
say 6 months or so.
2027, the end of 2027, you guess the park will be fully operational without the need for scaffolding on either
Correct.
the walkway, either the walkway or the basketball court.
I'm not sure about the walkway. I would have to check, but the part of the park that doesn't have the shed, right? Like the walkway, I know is at the end of 2027. The needle beams will be out.
So the walkway scaffolding will be high enough to permit passage of people from 25th Street to 26th Street?
Yeah.
Or will that walkway be closed?
No, that walkway will be open and the shed will add another layer of protection to that space besides for the scaffolding above.
I don't remember how much design you folks put in that walkway. That was pretty much not. It remained a walkway, didn't it?
Yeah, there's some stuff there, but we're trying to keep as much uninterrupted stuff as possible that the construction will allow. So this is all on top of mind.
I mean, I guess you could just not put stuff there until they're finished.
Exactly, this is a constant struggle we have neighboring properties, but we'll talk more about that later on, once we should have the cover for the construction.
So I'm hearing that by end of 2027, except for the walkway, because you may need to keep a shed there for the construction, the park will be open. That's not bad.
No, this is an extremely good relationship between us right now. And this has been through a lot of planning. We've had a ton of meetings over the past couple of months about this. So we're hopeful as well, Parks.
And on behalf of the committee, we're really pleased that you came tonight. Thank you so much.
Sure.
My
pleasure.
We wish you luck in this project and hope the hell it's finished quickly so that the Penn South neighbors won't have to hear your noise.
That's the goal.
And putting it more politely, I'm sure you're working to keep that down. That's part of your responsibility as well, I take it.
Absolutely. We're working closely with Ryan and Amber at Penn South, and they've been, phenomenal. And we have that line of communication. So any concerns from that community, comes right to us. And we're really, really looking forward.
Full disclosure, I'm a Penn South resident.
There you go. Okay.
But thank you, and it's nice to meet you.
Likewise. Nice to meet you all, and thanks for having me.
No, thanks so much for coming.
All right. Take care.
Max, just checking. Did you need anything from
No.
us with the, okay, cool.
This is purely informational and just responding to past criticisms we have got about not being completely forward with what plans are happening at parks before we issue construction permits. So this is us trying to change that process.
Learning. I like
Yes.
it.
Hey, the city adapts.
It's not just learning, it's thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Everyone's welcome. Please, we do learn, we do try to do things better. If you guys have any suggestions on how we can do things better, please let us know. We can act on it. All right. The next thing, finally something fun. I know the last two items were pretty not fun at all, but this is fun now. So this is a new park that we're currently designing. What's not a new park? It's an existing park that we're redesigning, the DeWitt Clinton Park. So we have Whitney and some other members of our capital team on the call. Whitney is a landscape architect, and this is his design. So if you like it, thank him. If you hate it, tell him. This is your opportunity as a community to basically look at what our landscape architects and professionals have been up to since we presented at the community input meeting. As you guys know, the community input meeting is the first step in our design process. We literally come to you guys as the very first step before we even put pen to paper, and we ask you guys what you want to see in a park. We take many, many notes, and from those notes, Whitney and his team do a design. They actually draw something out, and we come to you right now to present that design. So any comments at all from the board or the community, we welcome right now. If you guys see something again you don't like, please tell us now. Whitney, please take it ahead.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. I'm not exactly sure why my video is so dark, but
Oh,
the
actually,
office.
sorry, Janine, do we have a presentation? We should have a presentation for this project.
I wasn't sent the presentation.
I can share it. I can share
Okay, yeah,
my.
you can. You have access.
Okay, so you can see it now?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I'm a professional landscape architect, and myself and our team has been working on this project for about 6 months now, a little bit more. And we've come to the your board a couple times actually now. Anyway, it's the reconstruction of the sports courts and spray shower areas at DeWitt Clinton Park. We have a total budget of about $6.129 million. And we've been looking at it for quite some time. So the first thing we recognized about this park was that a lot of people love it, and it's in constant use. So we learned to love it as well. So it's such a dynamic place. A lot of people playing on the fields and running into the playground and things. So we had a community input meeting, and we talked to the management, the parks management, and we also listened to the people voicing their opinions. Now, the four most prominent goals that we came up with was to reconstruct the spray shower, address the drainage concerns, reconstruct the basketball, handball, and pickleball sports court areas, and to consolidate maintenance and operations and storage in the park, because this is a hub for a bunch of parks in the region, and provide more green space and stormwater mitigation for the park. So here we are on the west side near the Hudson River. Beautiful spot. It's one of the largest parks in the district, and it receives there's some sports fields and the sports courts. They get a lot of activity. This is a depiction of our project area, which is coming in from the 11th Avenue. People enter, and parks vehicles enter to come in this way, and then we have a large area of almost entirely paved area in the back, overlooking. Actually, it kind of overlooks the river there. Let's see. Existing condition.
Are you guys aware that the cruise terminal folks are talking about putting a footbridge?
Yes.
At the southern end of the park?
Yes, very much so. Very preliminary discussions.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's baked into their designs?
Yeah, we're discussing with them right now. It's too early to discuss in public.
Sorry to
And
interrupt.
also, this doesn't impact it because this is the northern side. So
That's correct.
that bridge will be part of something else. So thankfully, the two projects aren't related.
Well, it won't touch our property, right?
No, the footbridge might, but not not the area of your project.
It's too early to talk about any impacts of that bridge. We know nothing about that bridge really yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's interesting. Okay, so here we have existing conditions. You can see this area is almost entirely paved. We got basketball courts, pickleball courts, handball courts, spray shower. One of the things that we would want to do with the spray shower is to move it over and make it closer to the playground. And that would enable us to have a bigger picnic table area. And you can see here we got 3 different areas that outside storage is being put into by the M&O of the park, and one of our goals is to consolidate that. So here we have a little site analysis. We have the storage containers in a deteriorating condition. We have outside storage in an area which we might figure out how to put something else into. It's taking up valuable park space. Pickleball courts are lined up on the pavement, but they're not being used because there's just too much pavement heaving and overhanging limbs there to make them really playable. Same things are happening with the basketball courts. They are uneven, and the pavement is broken, so it's a real makes it difficult to play a serious game. But there are a lot of people who are doing shooting hoops on the backboards. Spray shower is a little bit old and needs updating. Has these great frogs. We'll show you the frogs in a minute. Flagpole is in the middle of the circulation route, and we think if we remove that, we can have better circulation to this park. And the existing trees, you can see there's a lot of trees here. They're about 85 years old, and all of them are in these tiny little tree pits, which really inhibit their growth and kind of make them want to reach out with their roots underneath the pavement and make and looking for water. So we can do better here. We actually surveyed every tree and make sure what condition it was in and what type it was. And our arborists have submitted a report for us, and so we can tell what we can and cannot do near the trees. This and also, just as a note, the tree canopy coverage is about 74%, which will make it really kind of difficult to install any kind of solar panels in this area, because there's just no sun that we can tap. So here's a couple of shots here. Here are the frogs with one of the frog users. Here we have a lot of broken pavement. Picture of the picnic area, which is a sliver of this area next to the spray shower. More deteriorating basketball courts with the color seal is coming off. Some deteriorating storage containers. Another storage area. This is looking down the entrance driveway. And this is the area in back of the handball courts, which is used for storage. So this is our new schematic design. In this case, you'd come in and we have a screened off M&O yard as you come in, where we have relocated the storage containers, which will have rolled doors, and it's going to be screened off, and you can drive vehicles in and out. As you can see, these green areas are now areas that you can infiltrate water into. So we are opening up the site to take some capacity, some rainfall out of the drainage system. And most of the use areas stay the same area in terms of the sports area. The handball courts aren't moving anywhere, but we're rehabilitating them. The pickleball is in a similar spot, but we've divided them so that they aren't as close to the tree roots. We're going to be repaving everything, so the grading should be nice and smooth. And this area also is going to be clear enough so that you could. We moved these benches back a little bit, so if somebody wanted to learn how to ride a bicycle, they could ride around on here while somebody's not playing pickleball. An adult exercise area in the back of the handball courts where the snowplows were. We will have a blow up of this in a minute. And these islands are all, this one's about 15 feet wide. And this is going to accommodate a lot of the roots, and the trees will really enjoy the new root zones. We're going to plant 5 trees, 5 new trees. These are the darker circles, and in here as well. Basketball courts are going to shrink a little bit, but we're going to put in new goals and repave this whole area. You can see there's a larger picnic area over here with a bottle filler and a new spray shower area with a drinking fountain. This is moved over so it's a little bit closer to the playground. And we're also going to install a gate which immediately aligns with the playground entrance. So, existing fences are mostly chain link fence. We're going to be replacing or rehabilitating them all. We're not doing anything along the edge of the playing fields, though. Everything that we're doing is inside the in our project area, but not the 16-foot large playing field fences. The new fence arrangement is like this. We have a metal screen fence in the storage and M&O area. We're going to rehabilitate all the fencing around the handball courts and along the perimeter here, overlooking the this walkway that goes up kind of a promenade area, and also the fence is close right up against the playground. And then also we have little 1 foot high garden fence around all the planters so that we hopefully we won't get too many dogs in there. We can always hope, right? And a steel fence on the other side of the basketball court so that the basketball court has is entirely surrounded by fences. So here we go with the large an enlargement of the adult exercise area. It's going to have a safety surface, marbled safety surface on the ground. And we have, I think there's one unit here. This big unit is a combination unit. It's got about 10 different kinds of exercise you can use it for. And then we have other more accessible I'm about to lose my computer here. There's an automatic shutdown.
Oh, that's on your end?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I got 10 more minutes here.
Yeah. You could always email it. We could back you up, Whitney.
Yeah, I emailed it to you.
Okay, I'll get it ready just in case. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Anyway, so this is the adult exercise area with handicap access. Here's this spray shower. We have lily pads in a pond, and we have more different kinds of sprays than we had before. We have ground sprays. We have upright leaf sprays that drip down on you. And we've taken the old frogs and put them on the lily pads in a similar configuration as to where they were now, but they're repurposed and they're reactivated. So we'll have all those 3 different kinds of sprays, and we'll also have a connection with the playground. As you can see, this is a new gate. We moved the gate basically, and it's on colored concrete, so you can see which way you're supposed to be going. We also have a little concrete bridge, think mini Giverny, between the picnic area and the spray shower. And you can see the bottle filler and drinking fountain here. Standard park equipment here, standard colors, standard concrete, standard benches, picnic tables, a bottle filler and fountain. This is a depiction of the storage container. We have new trash enclosures also we're putting out by the gate, which are the new standard trash enclosure, steel trash enclosure, I believe it is. Here's a depiction of the garden fence. All of the curbs are going to be flush curbs, and so the water can drain right into the planter areas. This is the metal fence around the M&O yard. It's called Orsa Grill. It's a louvered fence that you can't see through. Then picket fence and chain link fence. Some colorful grasses and small trees that we're putting in. And as for sustainability, which I know you're concerned with, we are adding 10% permeability, whereas right now we have less than 1%. And the practices are to improve tree health and growing conditions by adding root growth areas. That's the planters. We're reducing stormwater runoff by directing the water to new planting beds and detention areas. Preserving the existing tree canopy. Planting 5 new trees using RPL lumber instead of wood. Existing materials, we're reusing the cobblestone blocks as curbs. And water conservation by on-demand activation of spray shower in the spray shower area. So it's not all going at the same time, but they're going in sequence. So there we have it. And I invite any discussion or comments that you might have.
This is first off, very much enjoyed the presentation as well as the design. Really excited by the addition of, I guess, permeable green space and what that ultimately does for the park. I guess in places in which we've had, like, I guess, areas of vegetation and soil, there are sometimes problems with rats. And I was wondering if there are mitigations that are ultimately undertaken when Parks installs these sort of newer, like permeable green areas with soil as to prevent rat burrows.
Preventing rats in these areas?
Yes, because they appear to create burrows and homes in vegetated areas, especially in our parks.
Well, I think we got to keep the dogs out of those areas because the rats will come after the dogs' poop, right? And we also have, the need for constant trash pickup, so that
One of the things that you're doing a special selection of the horticulture, right, to help with that, so we don't do plants that attract rats like our bridges. So
Yes.
we choose plant material for those beds. We don't pick plants specifically so they have shelter, right? Rats need 3 things: they need shelter, food, and so as long as they have shelter, that's great. The food is the garbage. So he's actually proposing we do containerization of the trash, which is excellent. So our trash will not be in bags on the side of the street. They're not going to be containerized. So those are just some practices, right, Randy?
Right.
There was also, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah. Just to stay on the rat thing for a second. In the past, I know that there had been like this mesh wiring that had been installed like after plantings had been put in. I don't know if that is something that should be done proactively to prevent rats, or if that's something that's still used.
You're talking about hardware cloth?
Maybe that's what, yeah, I believe, I think so. Is that used at all in these new parks as a way of mitigating rats?
I haven't seen it in this kind of a park, but I actually am using it in another park that or another construction project that I'm way uptown.
Yeah, just maybe something to consider with all the new planting, just to be more proactive on rats burrowing, like maybe something is installed now as opposed to later.
They'll get through it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They will get through anything they want to go through. But the main thing is just don't give them anything to eat and they'll go away. They'll go find some other place. And so keep your trash in the rat proof receptacles.
Mm-hmm. And then in terms of I love that you're keeping the frogs, that's great. I love that whole area with the lily pads. I was wondering about, you said that the basketball courts are, I think you said like decreasing. It looks like you're taking away some courts, but are the size of the courts also smaller? But what did you mean by that?
By how you want to know in feet?
Are they still full court?
Well, they aren't. They're junior courts, and they'll remain junior courts.
Okay, I just wanted to ensure that they weren't getting any smaller than what they currently are.
2 minutes. I got 2 minutes. 2-minute warning here.
Why don't you let me just share my screen so you don't have to worry about it? Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know, Rachel Craver is the director of landscape architecture at the Manhattan team.
Oh no, I think mine is going to be closed out in 10 minutes. That's okay. I'll cover for a little bit.
I can also upload it myself. I have it on my computer.
Okay.
And Nick's the deputy director of landscape architecture.
That's fine, huh?
Thanks for being here, you guys. And girls.
Share my screen.
We'll do a tag team.
So the size of the courts are remaining the same, but you're taking away 2 courts?
No, there's still there were always 2 courts. There were 2 courts before, and there are 2 courts now.
Oh, okay.
Actually, there is one half court that is being removed to better accommodate the pickleball play.
Okay, so there is.
And the other 2 courts are staying.
So we could say 2.5. Right.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Paul.
And Whitney, could I ask a naive question? Thank you again for your presentation. I enjoyed seeing it the first time that you presented to us. This is very naive, but how difficult is it to redefine what the project limit is? Because one of the things that we had talked about previously is that if you're looking at the baseball fields from that northwest corner, and as you follow down the foul line, there's a setback that occurs a little to the right. Keep going. Right there. You see where that drops back at a 45-degree angle and continues due east. If you were able to redefine the project area, because I know this park very well, you could gain an incredible amount of storage space that you could add to the current limits that you have right now. I just don't know if that's a feasible suggestion based on what Parks has to go through to change the scope of the project.
Didn't you raise that once before, Jeffrey? It seems that we talked about that.
I'm sorry, Sally, what did you say? I couldn't hear you.
I thought we talked about that at one time. I think I remember you raising it because it was such a good point previously. Didn't we talk about it? Or is that something else?
No, we did talk about it, but it was merely a suggestion at that point without having any appreciation of whether or not it's reasonable to say, oh, could you expand the project scope beyond the currently defined boundaries? And as far as the bureaucracy is concerned of what filings that would take, maybe it's not a feasible suggestion.
Are you saying M&O storage? Because we consolidated the storage into this corner, but you're saying there's room for additional storage here?
Oh, yeah, so this is not a criticism of the consolidation plan that you guys have created so far. I'm just saying, knowing how like space is very, very tight. Every park that you guys manage, there is a dead spot effectively that's probably 15 feet deep and 30 feet long that could be reclaimed if needed.
And it's not circulation or part of the field? Or tree lined?
It is not tree lined. It's not part of the active play surface. And it's never used. It's just kind of empty. And that's independent of what sport is being played on the field.
Jeffrey, can you guide her to where to put the cursor?
I'm gonna try to find it in the aerial.
That hand right there is exactly where it starts.
This area.
So along this fence and then kind of going down this way?
Yeah,
this
exactly.
area here?
And I'd be happy to meet you guys at the park and show you.
Are you referring to this area over here?
Yes, exactly.
So, I mean, just, that's behind the 16-foot fence. I think it would just kind of expand the scope beyond what, usually we have a budget. And to your question earlier about the project limit line, it's determined at the onset when we get the budget for, we get $6 million, for example, and we define the scope of what we can do. So I think once we start getting into another area, having to remove, like a 16-foot fence, I mean, I think it would kind of reprogram that area. I mean, point well taken, though, that this area might not be used to the best of its ability. Is there no spray shower in this area right now, or like a misting post?
No, there's
No, but people view sports from there.
There's concrete.
Concrete, yeah, it's a concrete pad, yeah.
Area.
There is I think there's a bubbler there, or a drinking fountain. Isn't there a drinking fountain over there?
That's
Can we pull up the aerial view, please? Can we pull up the aerial
Oh, do you not see it?
What is this resolved for?
You don't see my screen?
No,
I just see where they're circling.
Oh,
There
wait,
we
we
go.
see it now, Rachel.
I'm sorry. Do you see it now?
Yes.
I only have 2 minutes. We might have to tag team to Nick's. Sorry. I don't know what's going on.
I'm back. I'm back.
Oh, then I'm gonna stop sharing. How do I do that?
Well, I have to bring up my.
Well, and not I don't want to sidetrack the meeting. If it's out of scope, it's out of scope. It's just maybe something for consideration if the next phase of DeWitt Clinton rehabilitation takes place. Maybe go ahead and pin that for consideration and redesign.
Yeah, Jeffrey, I think it's good to note right now, but I think we can't expand the scope right now. We're already at limit for the project budget, so I think we should just leave it at that for this project. But when we talk about the field in the future, we should definitely bring this up.
Sally?
My question was actually earlier, are we still on permeable? Because the numbers that we discussed, you said we were now at I think less than 1% and going to 10%, and I don't really understand what is there a norm? I mean, what does 10% represent? What's the typical?
Do you want to go to the sustainability slide, Whitney?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just going back because that was, an announcement that we were going from less than 1 to 10, and I'm not sure what that means. Is 10% good? Is 20% better?
It's a lot.
Where we should be? Well,
It's
we
a lot,
over.
it's a lot better than.
The question was why only 10%?
No, well, is 10%, I wanna know, is 10% good?
Better.
It's better, but is it good, or should we be at 20%, or 50%? The number doesn't mean anything to me, but isolated like that, what's okay.
Yeah, it is pretty good, and especially good for this park because we still want to play sports on courts, and that we don't have. There's not a whole lot more we could do here to make it more permeable. So, I mean,
So your capacity in terms of what makes sense for this size.
These things are called basically best management practice. Where we've gotten a good number of square feet of permeable area.
That includes thinking about permeable pavers for the walkways?
Which walkways? Like,
Well, you talked about circulation areas before.
yeah, I don't know if we can.
You have a whole storage area that could probably not be concrete, but be some kind of gravel.
Yeah.
The thing is that for
Mhm.
vehicle use, we need to use pavement.
Yes.
It would, you know what I mean? The pavement can withstand the traffic.
Yeah, I also want to just add something, if I may just interject for a moment. Don't let the permeability numbers that are in the slide fool you. We're talking only about the permeability in the design area. Remember, this park is ringed by lawn area and tree area. All of that is permeable. So don't think that this is a concrete desert where water just runs off. We're just talking about that one area. So we've gone from just the tree pits to an expanded area. And even the tree pits are a little bit porous because they're cobblestone. But I think for the purpose of design and for communication, that's how they're putting it forward.
As long as it was raised, I'll bring it up here, because we had the catastrophe of gravel in our park. We don't want gravel, because what happens is when the kids are playing, they pick up the gravel.
I am not a fan of gravel either.
No,
I'm
but
sure
we got rid of it because the kids, they thought it was candy and it was all over the place. So not a good thing at all. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Brad.
Yes, hey Marty, thank you. Are we able to pull up the new design?
Sure.
Thanks, Whitney.
Mhm. Was that the question?
Oh, no, I just want to pull it up so I can discuss it. Sorry. I mean, I can start talking about it now. I know we've had limited use on the handball courts, but high use on pickleball has been a lot of requests from the park board. And I'm just wondering, can we turn the pickleball courts that would go north and south then, and then we could add 2 more? So kind of push everything towards 54th Street. And also on the basketball courts, could we add 2 more rims in the middle so it can be used? Because a lot of people play half court, right? Even though these are smaller courts, a lot of people play half court. And those could maybe be lower rims for juniors.
Yeah, these actually are junior courts. So,
Well, when you say junior courts, you mean junior rims or junior sized?
Junior sized.
Junior sized lower rims.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't have a reading on the. I mean, we could.
Because to me, they look like regular sized courts, but shorter courts, regular sized rims, but shorter courts, which is fine. That's great.
Yeah, at this point,
But-
that's what they are.
Yeah, and I don't think it costs very much to add 2 rims for the short rims in the middle, left and right. That could be a good idea. And I would love to see, 4 more pickleball courts. And then I'm sure our chair will bring up, you mentioned the canopy, and the tree canopy causing problems with solar. And I almost fell out of my seat. So does that mean there's going to be some solar components here as well, Whitney?
We just know that we were asked about solar the first time we approached the community, and we just wanted to answer with our feeling that this area is not really that suitable because we have so many trees. So
there's plenty of ways to put solar up right on the fence line and to run power. So I can't agree with that statement.
You mean
towards the field area if we wanted to get power, solar power. But can we pull up the screen? I just want to talk to pickleball and the 2 rims.
It's up.
Yeah, well, I'm not seeing it. I don't know why.
When you showed the restrooms, the tree canopy did not cover it. It's an obvious place for solar.
Yeah, the restroom is I'm not sure at what point it's going to be redone. it's a smaller sized PRB than our standard one, and it's kind of in a funny, it's oriented in a strange way, so that I think what they might do when they redo that PRB is probably change the look, the orientation, and just tear down the whole building and rebuild the standard PRB. So I wouldn't think that anything on the roof would be permanent.
All right, I don't want to hold everybody up, but I'd like to talk
Mhm.
about shifting those pickleball courts, and we could fit 4 in there.
Yeah, that,
Are you redoing the handball courts?
yes.
Okay.
The,
I mean, as a board, we've been here many times. Is it worth to have one handball court and turn those pickleball courts and get 5 or 6? And I don't see how we're really missing an opportunity here.
what I haven't seen too much activity in the pickleball courts that are there now.
I know you described it though, no
yeah.
activity because the asphalt is terrible. You can't play.
I've seen people go into the handball courts and set up their nets and use the handball courts for pickleball.
Right. And that's what I'm getting at, Whitney, is that if we build a nice pickleball court and one handball court, they will come. And we've been requested over and over and over again for more pickleball courts.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was told, and I see no reason to doubt it, that the handball courts are really great courts and get a lot of use, not just from handball, but from things like lacrosse, practicing lacrosse.
Sure.
And they do have tournaments there at the handball courts.
Right. So if we turn the pickleball courts, can we fit one more in? Or if they were put on an angle?
I don't think
we don't have side parking, like they could fit 3 in there then?
Haven't tried the 3.
We need a certain amount of space beyond the blue. That's,
Right.
Playable space. So this allows space around the court when you serve, when you go for balls. If you make it too tight, you'll run into a fence or a bench.
This is a preliminary drawing, right? And we're having a preliminary conversation on if you could come back to us and see what you can do to fit some more in. That's my request.
If
And
you
also, if
rotate
you
it,
look
you can't. If you rotate it, you're going to hit a bench unless you don't want any. You just want blue boxes, and then there's no. That's not safe. That's not.
Right.
We have standards.
I'm asking you to look at the entire situation
Mm-hmm.
to see if it can be accommodated.
But Brad, are you suggesting removing the handball courts?
I'm suggesting come back to us with some other way to fit some more in.
Well,
shift the beds back a little bit. There's some room. Are they going to fill in more where the handball courts are? I like the adult exercise, but we're talking about a whole other area that has 30 feet that has concrete right now on the entrance we just talked about, where it could go there. So
Brad, is it okay if we take a look at this, and if it's not possible, we can continue the project?
I think that's all we ever ask as a board, is for you to look at something.
So we just don't want to slow down this project. So if we get your approval for this project tonight, which, it'd be nice to get your say and your blessing, and everything else is fine, we'll go forward to PDC and the other approvals we need. But if the team decides that we can fit more pickleball courts, we'll go back to you guys, so we'll take it that.
I mean, I don't want to talk about slowing down a project when it's down to 6 years to build an actual park. So if it takes that long, we should get it right.
So Brad, the team will look at it. They said they need that.
Yeah.
And then what about the basketball courts? Putting something there at the midway line for 2 more rims.
Well, Brad, so we looked at the option of including these half rims. The issue with that is that now you have a court which could potentially not be used at all when you have like a practice, rim being used. So here we're kind of maximizing, and it's, trying to be fair to all the different types of users we have in the park. People will play handball, people play pickleball and basketball. So everyone has kind of, equity and kind of equal representation a little bit. This was the way that, we really did study a lot of different options with maximizing, with adding half courts, with adding more pickleball courts. But this is really like the way we could fit the most use possible in this paved area, which although it's quite large, is quite limited because of the amount of mature trees and the existing fences and other considerations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think you guys understand what I'm saying. Do you see the logo in the middle of the basketball court?
Yep.
And if you go to the right, we could put a hoop there, a low level hoop, and then a hoop on the other side, a low level hoop, or maybe just one. So the juniors can play on a lower rim when there isn't a practice. That's all I'm trying to say. That's it.
No,
And Marty, do you see the area where that yellow is, where they're putting in the park's light pole? That's not in the tree canopy. That's over the other field. So there's no doubt a solar panel could go there.
That's an existing light post there.
Right. What I'm trying to
it's a
say
big
is
one.
that area, Whitney, faces a big open space.
Can you pull up the tree diagram,
Sure.
Whitney?
Yep. See all that area that faces the big open part of the play field? That's plenty of room to have light come in to hit a solar panel to run some power. It just gorges this board that we can't get one. Can we get a prototype? Just one.
So
it's beyond my scope to understand that we can't get one.
You know, we are
That's my last
piloting.
request.
We
And
are
I know you
piloting.
guys are going to work at it.
Yeah, we're piloting the solar panel, the solar lights at East River Park. Just to note that they're still attached to the system, because if they fail, we still are sort of mandated to secure the site with lighting. So if we have a pilot program, it's not a standard, and those lights are attached to the electrical system so that they do receive power if for some reason in the future they don't work.
Yes,
So
of course. Of course.
but just since this is the environmental group, we were, sort of excited to show you our sustainability slide. So where we couldn't do the solar lighting, Whitney, if you don't mind going to the
Sure.
sustainability slide, we feel like we're doing a lot of green infrastructure, reusing of materials, increasing, the health of the trees, making more permeable spaces. And then, as per DEP, all the water in this site, because of its size and the amount of disturbance and construction, we're going to be storing the water on the site so it doesn't burden the adjacent systems. So that's another, component, another scope element that we're including at this site. So, hopefully that's, we just wanted to share this information.
You got to be really clear that this committee is really pleased with this slide and the work that you have done to increase the sustainability. Brad should be faulted for not praising you greatly for this slide, but that doesn't mean that folks like Brad and I don't push for more. And we want to encourage you to look at every opportunity to increase the use of solar, the increase of use of permeability, the increase of use of native plants, all the stuff that we always hit. This slide is a victory for us as far as we're concerned, but we continue and Brad is one of the best members in this committee to do this kind of stuff. We continue to push for more. That's why I mentioned solar before. That's why he's looking for putting more stuff in this. You understand what I'm saying? It's praise and damnation at the same time.
Brad, I also came here, I think last month, I talked in detail about solar and where we're piloting it. We're currently only piloting at the flood zones in the city, but again, that's not a reason why we can't do it in other places. But the model we currently use right now has these really heavy metal batteries in it too. So there's actually a big debate if these are actually more environmentally friendly or not to us or not, because of those batteries that are inside these units. Plus, LEDs are a very long shelf life. They last for 20+ years. They're extremely efficient fixtures. So the energy draw of the site is actually not that much even with the LEDs. But again, you're not wrong by any means, and we should be looking at solar where we can. And in other projects, I can tell you if it hadn't, we definitely are.
I mean, into that, or in that vein, if Parks ultimately does get like results from the pilot, you know, like what are the differentials, what benefits are they? I think it would be helpful to share with the community, and this community board, because that is generally in my understanding, but I do know that there are differing opinions on the committee, and it's not necessarily bad to generate one's own energy.
And Brad, to your other point, we will take another look at maximizing the amount of recreational activities we can do, for sure. But that's definitely our goal. If we can, we will, because we now know it's a priority for you guys to do that. And if you guys write that in a letter to us, or just even saying it right now is more than enough, us to take another look at it. But that's fantastic. We really think of this site as like an outdoor rec center with the amount of stuff it offers. It's really spectacular.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something about the pickleball. These pickleball courts would be too large to go north-south. And because we're not showing the dotted line that goes around these pickleball courts, which is the actual play area where people go outside and still try to hit the ball because off the bounce. And you know, pickleball is like a big version of ping pong, right? And people use the ping pong table as just it's people who are 20 feet in back of the pickleball or the ping pong table. So we can't really push north or south here. And this actual, the planter area here, that isn't, we can't even push into that because this encompasses a lot of the root heaving area, and the landscape construction arborists won't let us go in there with new pavement. We're kind of under the gun with that. So this planter area is a tree area, so we can't push in there. So that we're not going to be able to make them north-south, because then we wouldn't have enough space. So 2 really good pickleball courts, I think, are a big win here.
Okay, go.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I think all of this looks great. I also appreciate that the frogs are being repurposed at this site, as you know, there are a lot of longtime residents that, you know, have relationships with the park, and those frogs have been a huge part of it. In relation to the pickleball courts, I know we have heard a lot about pickleball, 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 and we have installed pickleball courts. And I think we have more than enough pickleball in this neighborhood, and we do have an active handball community that, you know, needs their space. But shifting to the basketball courts, I know there are some summer leagues that play here, and I'm just wondering if we could have some benches, kind of like a sidelines going along there. I see like there's the planting area that splits the basketball courts from the spray shower and the picnic area. Like, could there be a line of benches that go there? You know, like north south, and then potentially if there's space on the other side closer to the perimeter fence.
Yeah, possibly we could work a couple of benches in there. Yeah.
Because you know, the fields have, you know, places for people to put stuff, and there's really no spectator space for the basketball courts or space for teams to, you know, drop their stuff other than putting it on the asphalt. So I think it would be beneficial to, at minimum, have a row of benches.
Yeah, they're also something to run into, so we have to watch out for that too.
True, but if the benches kind of line up right at the edge of the planting space, then it's, you know, separating the planting space and protecting the planting space from players running into it.
We do have a fence in there also to keep the balls out of the picnic area and the space shower. It's not
which is fine. Just, I think we should think about having some sort of seating in the perimeter of the basketball area, since that is used for leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's enough room with me on that edge right there.
Yeah.
It'll still be well clear of like 5 feet clear of the basketball court.
Right.
That's a good idea.
It is. Anything else?
Just timing, when do you anticipate breaking ground and all of that good stuff?
I
Well,
imagine you have to finish the design.
yeah, the construction drawings should be done by this summer. And then we'd be going into procurement, and construction would maybe a year from this fall.
Okay. How much change in this design is going to result as going to come as a result of this conversation?
Well, I don't think we can move the pickleball courts. That's I mean, we can put some more benches in. I think that's kind of an easy approach here. We can put some more benches in there. This will evolve slightly because we haven't done site testing yet. And we do expect that the engineering on the site will result in some detention areas being put in. So I don't know if that's going to, if that'll change any of the sports courts orientation or move anything, but there could be some minor changes when we have that designed.
Detention areas are areas that capture stormwater and release it.
Yes.
What do you want from us?
We would love to have to be passed along to the main committee and
So you
give us
guys,
a go ahead.
if you guys can write us a letter, that'd be fantastic.
Like for the public design.
Right. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, basically, we
Yeah.
like this design.
Yeah.
Please move forward with it. We do have some requests, but like ultimately,
You guys,
like, thank you.
and then once it goes for EDC, of course, you guys will see it there as well if you so choose.
Well, I see a letter that says everything that I just heard, but it says that we have some concerns. And the concerns that I have on my notes are, thank you for the increase in permeability, why not more? I'm wording it crudely, I apologize, I mean, no disrespect, it's just me. We're really pleased about the rat control. We didn't say anything about the shower, the spray shower water use. I take it that's public water that goes into the storm drain. You're not designing a reuse system.
No, but there are citywide standards on how big the spray shower can be, and we're adhering to them.
And it definitely goes into a sanitary line, not a storm line.
Right, it'll go into the sanitary
It has
sewer.
a separate capture.
DEP certification about that.
I'm not sure what you just said. It doesn't go into the city's stormwater systems, sewage system?
It goes into a specific sanitary line. It's considered soiled water after, it's meant for humans to, kids to play in it. So it has, as per
Yes, it goes
DEP.
into the combined stormwater sewage. I'm changing your words, but I don't think I'm changing your meaning. Goes into this, where my sink water goes, it goes into the stormwater sewage system.
Right, it'll go into the sewage treatment plant if it doesn't rain too hard.
Shower use, you said something about controlling its start and stop, that it's not on all the time, which I thought was a great addition. The basketballs remain junior courts, but there was a suggestion of putting junior rims in the middle of the courts so that they.
Hold on, the rims are the same, I just want to correct this from before. the backstops of the rims are the same no matter what court we use, unless we do a really specific child court, which we're not doing here. These courts, the horizontal dimension and the vertical.
10-foot hoops.
Yeah, exactly. The horizontal and vertical dimensions are different. That's what we're talking about by junior. The actual backstop of the rims are the exact same.
Okay.
So the dimension of the play area is diminished some.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's cool. I think I can capture that. But I don't know whether you hate or are resisting Brad's suggestion, which I thought was good, putting in at the 50-yard line. Is that for basketball? It's not basketball, right? The half court line, additional hoops, so that when there's not a full court game, kids can be playing with 6 different hoops as opposed to 4.
Can I just make a quick comment about that?
Sure.
Behind basketball hoops, we typically put a 12-foot high fence so that if they shoot over it, the ball doesn't, roll down the hill toward the sidewalk. So if we study that and, we would put a hoop, we'd have to raise the fences so it'll appear more cagey. Because right now the fence on the left is a 8-foot chain link, and the fence on the right is a 4-foot. I think it's a chain link.
It's
So
a,
we
a
just have
steel
to
fence, steel fence
steel
like it
fence.
is.
So,
Mhm.
but what Max is saying too.
Thank you
Yeah.
for making us.
Okay,
Thank
but
you
just
for
what
making
Max
us-
is. Okay.
No,
And
finish
on
your
the-
sentence. I apologize.
On the west side, we have a large light pole there, so I think that won't work there for 2 reasons. One, the fence is too short, and the light pole is right there at the mid-court line.
That's that little yellow thing.
Yeah.
I think maybe what could help, instead of specifying that we want these lower rims at the basketball courts, as you mentioned, in opening up more space, there was a half court practice hoop area that has been eliminated. So I think the question might be, in this current design, is there any space that you could potentially put in a lower rim, knowing that it's more for younger children to just shoot hoops versus actually play a full game? Like, potentially, could you have something that's, backed up against the handball court, or somewhere else to offer the lower rim for the younger children without impacting the basketball courts?
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
I think that's a great change of the suggestion I would put in the letter.
Yeah.
It's not, you're just hearing it said now, and there's no way that we're not trying to specify what you're doing. We're just raising questions. Please go ahead.
Perhaps this is a stupid question. I am not the correct person to ask. Do the children want this? Like, does anyone asking for this? Like, are we just sort of dividing the will of?
It's
I mean,
very,
there are a lot of
very-
young kids that do play basketball. I mean, we see them at Matthews Palmer, which now that court is open. There are a lot of kids that shoot hoops at Hell's Kitchen Park. So I mean, most of the younger kids are used to using the regular size hoop. But I don't see, I think previously the extra one, was there a shorter one, or was always the taller, like, standard size when it was at the current configuration?
They're
should
the
all-
standard size. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We, just to clarify, we don't really use these atypical children's rims unless it's like a children's playground type situation. And even then, it's more like a play structure than an actual sport thing. On regular asphalt, we always use the same standard rim, standard backstop. Which is what will happen here.
Okay. And I
Yeah,
think it makes sense to just then follow the standard.
So I think the letter the letter is only going to be saying concerns and suggestions. It's not going to say we demand, but
yeah, I mean,
not the idea.
you guys can say
Well,
whatever
Marty,
you want.
everything we've said tonight,
We don't want to.
they've said no. So that's what I heard.
Sorry, Brad, can you repeat yourself? The room got a little.
Brad, I didn't hear you. I know you said something. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop it. Never mind. Excuse me.
I think he said it, never mind. Cool. And then there were some comments about benches. So the letter would say, thank you for the presentation, fabulous design. Here are some concerns, would you please consider?
Yeah.
And we don't have quorum. Right. So I can only ask the room and those folks online if there is anybody that disagrees with what I just said, and I will bring this letter to the executive committee.
And just to clarify, that the letter should be addressed to the Public Design Commission. Could we, and not, and CC Parks, is that?
What is part?
No, just, you can address the parks.
Yeah.
That way,
Parks,
yes,
and
exactly.
You'll bring it to the Public Design.
Who do I address it to, you, Max?
You can address it to really anyone you want at parks. It does not matter. You can be Steve Simon, you can do me, you can do Rachel, you can do a commissioner. Most people do the commissioner.
It's not
We
even
prefer
Paul.
the commissioner. We much prefer the commissioner, but yeah.
All right, we'll send it to Paul.
Yeah, send it, if you can, send it to the commissioner. But if you guys don't choose, you can send it to the commissioner, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Marty, Marty and Katie, the only thing that I would add, sorry, is that I feel like this particular park was a very unique opportunity in which Parks came to us and said, hey guys, listen, we've got a very cool opportunity to redesign this park, and we're going to do it with community feedback. So I would recommend that they be recognized for living up to that commitment. And if we could memorialize in the letter that we appreciate Parks' cooperation and feedback from the community, and view this as kind of a model for redesign of parks in the future, I think that would be a really great addition to the letter.
Sorry, I didn't capture all your words. You wrote part of the letter there, but I'll get some of that. I think you're absolutely right, Jeffrey. Second letter to, this is the second letter to the executive committee. Right. Anything else from Parks?
The Rose Garden is fine. The Rose people. I beg your pardon. The strip, this is, we can talk about fun.
Paul, did you want to give any kind of report for parks, or are we good for this month?
Is there anything about what was suggested before about increasing space, or is that an issue we dropped?
You mean increasing
The
space?
space on the north east side of the outline. I think that's what was being talked about before. That's an issue we dropped. Is that?
Yeah,
correct?
yes.
I think it was sort
We got
of
it
plain foot wide not possible, given the need for vehicular access and all. Words that I don't.
But, you know, this is not the last time we talk about DeWitt Clinton Park for you guys, so.
Where's the agenda? Where's the agenda?
Oh, right, maybe there's no, it's not knowable, but during construction, is the plan to have like the whole, like this whole area out for the entirety of construction? Like inaccessible?
Whitney, Rachel, and Nick, can you hear the question?
Excuse me?
They're talking about construction right now.
Yeah.
Like in your the sort of different courts are undergoing reconstruction or construction, is the plan to take everything in that like corridor from the handball courts on down to the basketball courts out of commission for however long it takes to do this, or is it going to be piecemeal? Like, will there be, or is this something that is completely undecided and we'll have the conversation later?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, I mean, it depends on really what the contractor stages it for, because there are some parts of it that might be, but I'm not sure that the contractor can, and maybe Nick, you can give me a little better handle on that, but I don't think you can do things partially.
Well, it is possible, and we do phase some larger parks. I think just for the sake of, well, the public safety during construction, a lot of contractors, for example, like to do the demo all in one go. And if we wanted to limit it to, for example, say the northeast corner was the only place where there's construction access, that would allow us to keep the rest of the park, the playground, the public restroom building open during construction. So as Whitney's saying, like, when we actually get a contractor on board, we can discuss those terms with them. It's kind of up to them in some part too. But just looking right now, the scale of the park, I don't think it would be advisable to have a piecemeal approach to kind of like demoing just the south park and the south part of the park and then the north. But definitely something we do, you know, like very large parks when we need to keep part of the operation, you know, part of the park in operation.
But and also just to add, we will look at the safety and the circulation, that we don't want to make dead ends or dangerous, you know, places. So the way that people access the field, we'll take a good look at that. And so we don't want to hinder, you know, circulation to the field, you know, and to the playground and to the, you know, the stairs. So we will take a close look at that.
Thank you. I guess just highlighting that it sounds like there may be a very significant recreational area out of commission for, you know, a significant period of time, and there may be, you know, I think community like concerns, just general concerns about that. Not to say that like it needs to be phased or it can't be phased, but that will inevitably be part of the concern, which I understand is necessary if you want these things to be improved, but I'm sure will come up from others.
Thank you. We now need to move the agenda again, unless I'll give you wanted to give a report.
Well, I don't have my standard safety report because we were dealing with snow. But what I will tell you, I just want to say that whenever the city has a large snow event, as they did, everybody looks to sanitation to you know, to clear the streets and make things safe. But I also want to just make it very clear that parks is also a very, very big part of any part of weather snow mitigation. So we were part of a number of cleanup crews in various neighborhoods in Manhattan. I have some pictures to share with you. And so if you're seeing parks that are like, they're still chipping away, that's because we were also helping with the larger effort in snow clearance. And so I'll share some of these pictures with you so you can see where we were. We were up on Lexington Avenue at 116th Street and 125th. We were on 9th Avenue between 59th and 42nd. And we were also down by City Hall, Church Street between Chambers and Canal. And so we really hit the city trying to make things safe. Clearing crosswalks, I think sometimes it was bus stops and fire hydrants. So we're really out there keeping things safe, you know, with the rest of the city agencies. And also, people should know that we also provide plow trucks, sanitation, and drivers to help them clear. So that's also what we do in support of neighborhoods.
They needed all the help they could get with this snowstorm.
Yes, it actually, I don't want to say it caught us sleeping, but we had scheduled, we were expecting it to begin around noon on that Sunday. And when I was leaving for work at 5 o'clock in the morning, I saw it start to come down. And so it kind of got ahead of us. So, and it wasn't light, fluffy, friendly snow, but that's how we get it done. So just so you know, that's it. That's my report.
That's good to know.
So I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
So, I don't know if it's coincidence, but Max, I haven't had any company at 2 AM for the last several days. Is that a coincidence or are we locking the fences again?
Chelsea Green.
Oh, so yes. So one of the issues with the snowstorm was that a lot of after we got sidewalks cleared, a lot of the gates got frozen open. And so as these crews have been going through, basically chipping in pathways, and they've also been freeing up the gates. So I assume from what you're describing that we've got it chipped open and they're being locked as they were.
Well, during the period that I was writing to you guys, our particular fence was not frozen. I thought it was probably that you were doing other work and you just were not getting to locking the fences. But what that did to our park has allowed the dog lovers to come in at 2 AM and play with their dogs while they walked. So, again, hasn't been anybody in the last couple of days, but I don't know if that's because he has the flu or because you're locking the fences, so, but our fence was not frozen, it just was left open.
Well, I hate to say it, I hate to say that I hope he has the flu, but
But what?
apparently, that's probably.
No, but you know, are you locking the fences?
We have no reason not to. A lot of things during the storm got put on pause. For example, a lot of bathrooms weren't open because, believe it or not, it was so cold, pipes were freezing. And, you know, even though we put up signs that say, please close doors, keep heat in, no, general park users don't do that. So we just closed them up. As a matter of fact, we had a freezing situation over at Chelsea Park. So there are a lot of things that we normally do, we didn't do to focus on snow removal, either in the parks or as part of the citywide mobilization. So we're more or less back to normal now as the weather's gotten warmer, and we've also kind of.
Haven't had any company for a couple of days.
I'm very happy to hear that.
There's been a lot of criticism of the new mayor and of the city for the, I'm quoting because I don't feel this way myself, the poor job that they've done in snow removal. Actually, with this horrendous storm, I think they did a fucking fabulous job. And it's nice to hear that, I mean, you're not supposed to say that on recorders. And I'm glad to hear that you guys were involved. I think that's, I'm sure you don't hear public statements of praise. I mean it as that.
People do not understand what it takes to mobilize to keep the city running. They have a very narrow view of which agency does what, where in fact it's a lot of cooperation. I think there were 6 agencies that responded to Ramona Ponte. We had DEP, we had DOB, we had Parks, we had OEM, we had NYPD, and we had DNY. All for that one. I mean, it was a horrendous situation, but everybody has someone that they need to report on, account for, or assist with. And people don't see that. They assume, well, it's snowing, so sanitation's out and they're salting the streets, or sanitation's plowing, but we plow also. So people just don't understand what it takes to get things done.
The public information isn't that it's cross-agency cleaning, it should be actually.
I agree with you.
But I think, given how bad this snowstorm was, the city did a fabulous job, and that's just me. We have another agenda item.
No, we don't, Marty.
What
So,
happened?
Uh,
So should we
initially,
talk the park for a little longer?
initially Anna Sachs was supposed to, talk about some sustainability stuff related to waste. But due to the stuff that popped up with the scaffolding and Ramona Ponte and that conversation kind of taking the first hour, she was not able to stay on later. So we'll just have to reschedule a time for her to come back to present.
I saw her stack, Katie, and I think it's on the Dropbox, and you all can take a look at it.
She had sent an email earlier to us and Janine, and I replied back, understanding, and we'll work on figuring out when we can reschedule that.
So we need to talk about scheduling of the next meeting, which presumably will be the presentation we didn't see tonight. But should the Ramona Ponte Park come back up also?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that will be, an update with Parks. We could potentially have Kelvin. We just really need to try and keep it down because there's a lot there's a lot of stuff happening.
So you and I and Janine need to talk about, I want to be careful with our scheduling. I'm happy I'm able to say this more than just to you, Katie. We had a meeting last fall that lasted to 11 o'clock. It didn't make me happy. It didn't make anybody happy.
Which is why we just need to make sure we don't overload our agendas and, know that, stuff pops up frequently, especially with Parks and all the scaffolding that we have.
Stuff happens and that
Yeah,
scaffolding.
we can set up a prep, Marty and Katie, to kind of go over what's on the agenda next month.
Cool.
Yep.
I think Brad has his hand up.
Go, Brad.
Just to go back to DeWitt Clinton, you guys brought it up, and I know they said it was a non-issue, but maybe add to the letter about the transportation terminal and a possible connection. I just do think we should at least make that note.
I'm not
in the
sure,
letter.
I don't know what you just said, but
The potential of a pedestrian bridge that connects. I understand your point, Brad, but it's not in any way related to this specific part of the project. The proposed area would be further closer to the 52nd Street side, which is not being renovated at this time. So I think that could be dealt with in the
I get what
future.
you're saying, Katie. I just would, as a suggestion, that way we've put it out there because you could hear the architect, Whitney, had no idea about it, but Mike did. And all I'm saying is it doesn't hurt to say, please note that this is a possibility because we've seen things change many times, as we know, Katie, right? All of
Yeah.
a sudden, you know, they spent all these monies on these stairs and these stairs are probably going to go away when we begged them to put the money in the park. So I'm just saying it doesn't hurt to maybe make the note.
Brad, when I saw the design for the pedestrian crosswalk, which was it is in a very preliminary state, which Max has been saying to me all along here tonight. I was amazed because they designed it right over the $1 million steps that have just been renovated.
$1 million, I believe it was $12 million. Remember, Marty? We were astounded.
It was an expensive renovation.
So my point is just to maybe make the note is all I'm suggesting. It doesn't hurt us.
It's an important suggestion. I appreciate it, but I think it's too much an aside for what this letter is trying to say. So with your permission, I won't put that in.
And I think thankfully now everyone is aware, the people who are on this call from Parks now know about this a little bit more.
And we'll keep bringing it up because it's going to come up. I mean, we've seen it in the presentations. I saw another presentation of the marine terminal at the Hudson River Park Advisory Committee, I think that's its name. And, they now have some money for shore power, which was nice to hear, but they're still not doing temporary. And I raised that, Brad. And somebody criticized me for raising it, and I said, no, I'm going to keep raising it. There should be temporary shore power if you bring the electricity over. But you see, we're talking about something very other than DeWitt Clinton. Any other agenda items, any other information, any other things? Sally already has her coat on. She's walking out the door. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, no, we beat you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Whitney, for an excellent plan.
Well,
Thank you, guys. You control the presentation nicely.
Also, you can stop through